Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the week gone by of the year 2011. And as always, we will give you a brief of all the news that has happened in South Asia during the last week. First up, we will check out stories from Bangladesh, where a lot has been happening in the areas of law and order. When on one hand, Khandekar Delwar Hussain was accused by the Anti-Corruption Committee, it was the Bangladeshi High Court that called for the punishment of Hussain Mohammad Ershad. Also by the International Crimes Tribunal rejected the bail plea of Delwar Hussain Saidi and sentenced him to jail. Early last week, the Anti-Corruption Commission filed 5 cases against 4 BNP senior leaders and an ex-chief accountant of the Parliament Secretariat. BNP Secretary General Khandekar Delwar Hussain, former Speaker Jamiruddin Sarkar, former Deputy Speaker Akhtar Ahmed Siddiqui and JS ex-chief accountant Ashraful Islam are all made accused in the cases. The former speaker faces charges in all the 5 cases, while Delwar in 3. Also last week, the High Court called for the punishment of former military dictator Hussain Mohammad Ershad in its verdict annulling the 7th Amendment. The High Court released the full version of its landmark verdict, declaring the controversial Constitution Amendment illegal. The 7th Amendment had earlier been passed, legitimizing Ershad's military dictatorship. Hussain Mohammad Ershad, deposed in 1990, is now a major ally of the ruling government as the head of his faction of Jatiyo Party. Even Jamaat-e-Islami leader Delwar Hussain Saidi was sent to jail, rejecting his bail prayer by the International Crimes Tribunal. The tribunal asked the authorities concerned to produce Saidi before it on February 16, 2011. The tribunal also asked the investigation agency to complete the probe against Saidi and submit the report the 15th of February 2011. On the other hand, the International Crimes Tribunal fixed 17th January 2011 for hearing the charges against detained BNP leader Salahuddin Qadir Chaudhry for committing crimes against humanity during the Liberation War. A 3-member judges panel had started the trial proceedings last week and asked the jail authorities to produce Salahuddin before the court on that day. Salahuddin was shown arrested on 19th of December 2010 following an arrest warrant issued by the International Crimes Tribunal. Moreover, 3 defamation cases were filed last week against officials of the Transparency International Bangladesh or TIB. The list included Chairman M. Hafizuddin Khan, Executive Director Iftikharuzaman and Senior Fellow Wahid Alam. But the case filed in Komila was dismissed on technical ground hours after the court issued arrest warrants against the 3. It was a lawyer who filed the case with Komila Senior Judicial Magistrates Court, stating that the TIB report had tarnished the image, honour and reputation of the judiciary by calling it corrupt. The report by the TIB stated that the judiciary was the most corrupt service sector in Bangladesh. The report claimed that over 88% of the people who approached the judiciary for services between June 2009 and May 2010 faced harassment and corruption. Furthermore, responding to Supreme Court directives, the Transparency International Bangladesh submitted its household survey report and an explanation on it. The information was sent to Supreme Court Registrar Ashraful Islam. It was earlier in the week that Supreme Court authorities asked the TIB to submit relevant documents and its household survey report that said most service seekers became corruption victims at the judiciary. In another update, a special BDR court in Sylhet convicted 59 out of 61 riflesmen on charge of rebellion during February 2009 BDR mutiny. 2 other BDR soldiers who were acquitted as the court found no evidence for the allegations made against them. Each of the convicted has also been fined 100 taka each. The accused were charged with rebellion in support of the mutiny at the BDR headquarters in Bilkhana on 25th and 26th of February 2009 that left about 70 people dead, including 57 army officers deputed to the BDR. We will now check out news from Pakistan, where reports suggested that early last week, Prime Minister Syed Yusuf Raza Gilani met with President Asif Ali Zardari to discuss overall political situation of the country and other matters of national importance. Foreign Minister Makhdoom Shah Mahmood Qureshi was also present during the meeting. Reportedly, it was decided during the meeting to continue with politics of reconciliation and taking along all the political forces to overcome the challenges facing the country. Other matters of importance that were discussed in the meeting included Pak-Afghan border situation and internal security of the country. We will now check out some of the updates from Afghanistan from the past week.
Last week, the government of President Hamid Karzai denounced a NATO-led night raid on a compound in Kabul that killed 2 men. He has also accused the Western forces of violating agreements governing security in Afghan capital. The quarrel moreover highlighted long-standing disagreements between the Afghan government and the US military over the use of night raids. The incident also underscored jurisdictional disputes that are likely to arise as Western troops begin handing over security responsibility to the Afghan police and army. On the other hand, Iran Defense Minister Ahmed Vahidi met with Afghan Vice President Mohammad Qasim Fahim during the past week and announced Iran's readiness to share its experiences with Afghanistan to help the neighboring countries strengthen its army. Moreover, when on one hand Vahidi described Tehran-Kabul relations as strategic, on the other hand the Afghan Vice President also thanked Iran for its support of the Afghan nation. In the other updates from last week, a car bomb exploded near a police compound in the center of Kandahar city, killing an individual and wounding 26 others. The person who died and more than a dozen of those wounded were members of the Afghan National Civil Order Police. However, the provincial security chief stated that it was still not clear as who caused the attack. And it was a day after that when reports appeared that an UN official confirmed that violence had gripped some areas of Afghanistan which were once being regarded as stable. Moreover, reports also confidential that UN map charted a decline in security from March to October this year. The charts show that insecurity in the south has not receded despite President Barack Obama's decision to send an extra 30,000 troops. The Wall Street Journal also reported that during the same period, 16 districts across the north and east had seen security worsen. And just when it seemed as if all the fraud and irregularities in September Afghan elections were fading from public view and off the global press radar screen, the Afghan Supreme Court decided to go fishing in the muddy waters of Afghan electoral politics. President Karzai issued a decree empowering a 5-member tribunal suggested by the Supreme Court. The court recommendation came after hearing numerous complaints about the electoral process and results. Now it remains to be seen how much power the tribunal will really have and if it will try to alter results. But however, as the week progressed, another roadside bombing in the southern Helmand provinces killed at least 14 Afghan civilians, including women and children. The bomb struck a minibus traveling on the main road that connects the Sangin district to Kandahar. A spokesman for the Helmand provincial government blamed the Taliban for the attack, which they denied. The UN and NATO also expressed condemnation.
After all those updates from Afghanistan, we will now check out the updates from India. Now, the first crack in former Telecom Minister A. Raja's armour came with the Comptroller and Auditor General's report on the telecom controversy. The PAC has been examining the CAG's report of a presumed loss of 1.76 lakh crore rupees in the allocation of the 2G spectrum, and the main findings of the report was that there were serious irregularities in the manner the 2G spectrum was allocated. Moreover, they found out that the 2G spectrum was allocated to new players at throwaway prices in non-transparent manner.
It was early last week that Vinod Rai of CAG appeared before the Public Accounts Committee, headed by BJP's Murli Manohar Joshi. Moreover, Public Accounts Committee Chairman Murli Manohar Joshi stated that the panel can go beyond the Controller and Auditor General report in its investigation in the 2G spectrum scam.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की ओर से भी CAG के हमारे PAC को एक पत्र मिला है, जिसमें उन्होंने अपना वो प्रस्ताव दोहराया है जो उन्होंने एक सार्वजनिक सभा में कहा था कि वो PAC के समक्ष उपस्थित होने के लिए यदि आवश्यकता हो तो तैयार है.
On the other hand, Joshi also confirmed receiving a letter from Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and said that the Prime Minister is ready to appear before the Public Accounts Committee if asked to do so. Joshi, however, said that the decision on the Prime Minister's appearance will be taken later at an appropriate time.
Now in Nepal, the government appointed Gopal Kafle and Mahaprasad Adhikari to the post of deputy governors in the Nepal Rashtra Bank. Ministers for Information and Communication spokesperson of the government, Shankar Pokhrel, informed the media that the decisions were taken by the meeting of the Council of Ministers held in Singhadarbar. Reportedly, the meeting also formed a 3-member Defence Direction Committee under the chairmanship of Defence Minister Bidya Bhandari. The decision to retain and promote Nepal Army officials was also taken during the meeting. Time now to check out news updates from Sri Lanka. The President instructed the Ministry of Power and Energy to extend the concessionary rates of electricity to the consumers whose usage is up to 120 units per month. Earlier, the President had stated in his budget speech that concession rates would be valid to 90 units of electricity users per month. The new decision was announced last week at a discussion with the officials of the Public Utility Commission and the Ministry of Power and Energy. We will now wrap up this edition of Week Gone By here, but we leave you with the visuals from all over the world as how everyone welcomed the new year. But till then, keep watching TV South Asia.